Sometimes you meet people and just know that they're going to accomplish something special. This week, we have Melanie Black Amato on as our guest, and she's definitely one of those people. She's currently tasked with transforming downtown Barberton, Ohio, as the executive director of Main Street Barberton. What does it take to turn around Main Street? Stay tuned. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So we do the Main Street Barberton podcast together, which is usually like 3 to 5 minutes after about 20 minutes of giggling to finally get out what we're supposed to talk about. So this, I'm pretty sure, is going to be entertaining. Do you agree?
I would agree.
Okay, good.
Any time with us is entertaining.
Yes, highly entertaining. So investigator, business owner, how do you feel those have prepared you to take on, being a nonprofit executive director for Main Street Barberton?
So having the different skill sets, working for the state, I've also worked for the county, being an investigator, and then working in the nonprofit world, and then starting a business. I was actually able to kind of pull from each one of those some different tools that I've used in the past. I think with the investigator component, it's really listening to people and hearing what they need and trying to figure out how you can help support them with regards to like the small businesses that I work with. And working in the nonprofit field, obviously we're a nonprofit now. So having that experience, the background of running a nonprofit, running an organization. And then with regards to owning my own business, having my own business, I know where they're coming from. So I know where the small businesses are at. I understand the challenges they've had. I understand some things that they had to overcome. I know how hard it is to do that job. And so I have the ability to really fully understand that and then also try to move us forward in the community.
Makes sense. So, there's a lot of challenges with, the Main Street program. It's revitalizing a neighborhood. It's bringing something up. It's bringing a bunch of businesses up. What do you feel is like your favorite part of that so far?
I think bringing in new businesses and seeing the excitement on somebody who maybe recently just bought a building and they're excited to start a new venture. And then to actually see it to fruition and watch them start to blossom is pretty exciting to me. So actually, watching it from beginning to end, because I have the opportunity to meet with the potential building owner first. Like he comes to me and says, ask questions about the city and what's going on and what are you doing? And based on that, he says, okay, I'm going to buy a building. And then to actually watch that process unfold and see a business start to flourish.
Nice. Because there's a couple of construction projects going on down here, which, we see on a daily basis that are looking pretty good. Like I said, we're going to talk about the podcasting aspect here for a minute. So this is, I believe, where we're going to get into some of the laughs. Because we sit down for we prepare by leaving about a half an hour, 45 minutes for a 5-minute podcast, because we know we're going to laugh about 20 minutes of things. I see that we get the engagement from the video from that. What do you think the engagement is from the video in that? Is it because it's the podcast? Is it the information? Is it because we're hilarious, even though are we? But where do you think that engagement comes from with that?
Well, I think anytime you're doing a live or video versus words or just reading information. Sure. You have the opportunity to kind of get to know the person and better understand who they are as you're talking with them. So they're relatable. And so people now, as I do the podcasts and I walk, downtown, people are like, oh, you're Melanie. Like, we know you, even though I don't know them. They know me because they've watched the podcast. And so I love that because they feel totally compelled to come up and start having a conversation with me as if we've already met. Nice. So I love that. I think it gets the story across. I think it just gives an opportunity to put a face, how someone is, how someone acts about the product and or the person. Sure.
It puts personality behind it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's it. It's kind of one of the reasons why I like it too. I know you talked a little bit in some of the questions that I sent you before. Is I gave you homework, of which you filled that out and was like, okay, this was a lot. You didn't think it was going to be like sixth grade again. It was.
Kind of was.
But you said you're excited to expand the podcast. What are some thoughts that you have on that? I'm excited to hear some of these.
So I think after doing what we've done so far with the podcast, which is sharing about events that are happening downtown and obviously encouraging families to come and visit, whatever's happening for that event, I could see it metamorphosing into maybe bringing in the small businesses or, and getting them to talk and share some of their stories that they've had throughout the years. And then also the people behind the scenes. This is not just me. This is a whole group of volunteers that is needed to operate Main Street Barberton. One person cannot possibly do all of this. So I think just acknowledging the teams behind also that are helping and to show that this really is a village. It takes a village to produce what we're trying to do here. And so just acknowledging some of those people and bringing the faces in and to know that it's bigger than just what you see on the camera of me.
Sure. Speaking of the size and the scopes, some things like the event that you guys did last month, that was how many bands?
The Art and Music Festival, we had over 30.
30 bands. And how many different places were they at?
Oh gosh, Josh. I mean, I feel like it's, I think we had 12 locations.
Right. All spread throughout the
Several
neighborhood.
Miles, right?
Yes.
Of downtown.
So 30 musicians, bands, whatever. I mean, 12
artists.
Yes.
We had
12 different locations.
Over 20 artists.
All set up with tables and stuff like that.
Yeah. Doing live art.
And about how many people was it estimated we got downtown for that?
We estimate about 2,000 people. It was throughout the day.
That does not happen with just like, hey, anyone know a band?
Right.
What was the prep like for that? What went into that? I mean, I know it sounds like you just call a couple of bands and tell them to show up. You're shaking your head like you're going to strangle me.
This required, we had a committee of about 20 people.
Oh, wow.
Come together, and we met, and we actually felt like we were starting late because, again, I was fairly new in the position. So I would say it took us 6 months to plan, and that was rushed. And we met every week or every other week for hour and a half, and then everybody had side, responsibilities to implement and fulfill on the side, even outside of our meetings. So, I mean, you're talking over 60 hours, 100 hours of prep time just to prep the event. And then the actual day of the event, I was out there at 7 a.m. with my volunteers, and we worked till
yes,
10 o'clock at night.
That was a long day for you. To see those types of things come together and to see people walking into the businesses, to me, shows that there's this effectiveness there. You've said you want to make Barberton a destination. There's some really cool things for people that don't know that are down here. There's a neat downtown. There's the lake. What are some of the other things that you want to showcase to make this the destination?
So we have a lot of great existing businesses right now. The fact that we even have a movie theater still. I just ran into somebody the other day and I shared that with them, and they're like, "You have a movie theater still?" And I was like, "Yes." And downtown, and they were, they're from Akron, and they had no idea. So I think it's exciting to acknowledge what we have, and then the live theater. Having Magical Theater is great. What other town has that and a movie theater? Yeah. To have the White Rabbit Galleries, to have the art component. We have some great bars and restaurants. We have a brewery down here. And then, we're just, a block away from a beautiful lake to walk around. And we now have the Magic City Pedal Pub. We have a pedal pub I saw that. It's going around downtown, which I'm so excited about. I'm not aware of any other one in Summit County right now. So they chose Barberton to be the destination place to pedal around. And basically it's a party on a pedal pub. That's awesome. And I'm excited about the future too. We have an escape room that's no currently being built right now, and they're supposed to be opening up in the fall. Axe throwing. So we have a lot that's going to be happening. Golf simulation.
Oh, no
So,
kidding.
yeah.
There's going to be a golf simulator too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So.
No, so there's some, I mean, there's the arts, there's some activities.
Right.
There's, I mean, the pedal car thing, there's the lake, there's all sorts of reasons to come down here. It's just making sure you make it.
Yeah. And having the Dora, which is a great benefit as well.
So what is there? I mean, a lot of cities have a Dora, but not everyone understands those. What is that?
So the Dora is the designated outdoor refreshment area, which gives you boundaries that you can take your beverage in a specified cup, but you can take it out and walk. So as you're going and strolling along, or you want to sit and just have a drink outside, or if you're going to another destination, you can take it with you.
Okay, so you can walk around outside with your beverage without worried about getting tackled.
You sure can, yes.
Nice.
As long as you stay within the parameters of the boundaries, which we have a pretty decent size boundary, which is great.
Yeah, it's a big area and there's good signage for it too. So that way if you go to walk out of it, you're probably going to get hit with one of the signs.
And many of the businesses allow you to walk in with that alcohol as well. So
Yeah.
a lot of the businesses are alcohol friendly. You can take your cup in and shop at the same time.
Nice. Yeah. So we're in the White Rabbit Gallery today. And this is one of those ones where, yes, if you buy a drink, bring it on in, check out some art. I would encourage people to take home some art, pay for it,
Right.
but also take home the art then and that support the artists. So what's a big misconception about Barberton and especially its downtown that you would just love to address?
A misconception. I think that there's a perception that nothing's happening or nothing's been done to help improve the downtown. And I would say to the contrary. That's unfortunately things take years. There's, when you write grants or you rely on grants, federal, state grants, things don't happen right away. You literally have to wait a year or two before you even get approved. And then it's like, and then you got to wait another year to actually get the funds.
It's government.
So there's things that are working behind the scenes sometimes that don't seem fast enough. And I understand that because I've worked for government. So it is a challenge, but things are happening. They just happen sometimes not to the pace we would like them to happen.
Sure.
And even just with Main Street Barberton, we have a lot of behind the scenes creating activities, having something every month for families to do, and in just beautification. Like we're currently in the process of working on some other initiatives to beautify the downtown. And it's taking us, 6 months to a year to implement it, to put it out there, but it's happening. It doesn't mean that nothing's being done. It just takes time.
It's funny because like those flower pots, those are new, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And when did that start as an idea?
5 months before. And so the first thing is I want flower pots downtown to help make it look better. But then it's like, well, how are we going to get them paid? They cost us $200 a piece. Who's going to maintain them? Who's going to transition them out into the fall, to put the fall flowers in? It's not just, let's just buy flower pots and they'll just sit there. And then who's going to water them? So believe it or not, there's a lot that goes into bringing flower pots downtown.
It's not just like buying it and setting it on the ledge and forgetting about it at home.
No, they have to be monitored, maintained, and we're going to transition into a fall foliage, and then around the holidays, Christmas, we're going to change it out again, and so that requires volunteers and teams to help with that. Sure,
and there's going to be even Christmas stuff for them.
Yes, yeah, we're going to decorate them for Christmas.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. What is one of your most ambitious goals for Main Street Barberton?
So my long-term goal, I recognize this isn't going to happen overnight, but my long-term goal is that we are at 100% occupancy in our downtown. So
nice.
every building is going to be full with a business, some sort of business. That would be my ultimate goal. I think it might take us a while to get there.
Sure.
I have a lot of work ahead of me with regards to that, but and that we are a destination. I want people from out of town, from out of state to want to come to Barberton.
Very cool.
And feel good about being here.
For sure. Like you said, there's so many cool things to come here for that, the fact that we have the theater, it is right on the other side of that wall where that is magical theater. They have plays there all the time. To me, those are such cool things.
And they're good. They're excellent plays. Like they're very good.
Yes.
Yeah, they do an amazing job.
This is not the 4 people that do this once a month these are professional productions. Yeah. And that to me, it's so neat to see especially too I've been to a couple of the plays when the theater lets out and just this flood of people comes downtown. It's usually in the evening, stuff like that. It's got this neat effect, this neat everything that goes on with it. Yeah. As far as the podcast that we've done, you've mentioned bringing in some of the other owners, like some business owners, some volunteers, some stuff like that. When do you think you'd like to start doing that? Because that, to me, is going to be an interesting road to take and one that is going to be a lot of fun. When do we want to start doing that? That's going to be an interesting question.
That's a great question. First, I have to find businesses that are willing to do that and volunteers willing to come in and talk in a podcast and not be afraid.
That is funny that you say that. And I think that's one of the reasons, too, why for us to start when we start talking, it takes us 15 to 20 minutes.
Right.
Because we're like, hey, what are we going to say for this?
And there are some outtakes. We definitely have to...
Usually a couple.
Usually have to clean it up some.
Usually a couple, yeah. Because we come, and I mean, in a lot of cases, we kind of come in and wing it. Right. This is, you're obviously incredibly busy with what you're doing. And there's the list of, okay. And we come in, we sit down, we wing it, and it turns out hilariously authentic, I think, because of that. And I think that's a lot of fun with that. That being said, I want to thank you for the time today. I really appreciate it. To me, I mean, I'm involved with some of the Main Street stuff, but definitely at a distance. To hear more of your vision and stuff like that, I really appreciate. So thank you very much. For all of you that are watching out there, once again, we're always going to look to cover some of the marketing, some of the video stuff, but to tell the interesting stories of the people that are out there, to me, is really the goal in this. As I always like to say, make sure you take care of yourself, and if you can, someone else. I will see you soon.